Welcome, America, to Unmask the Truth. Excuse me. Today I'm going to focus on the bankers and their role in this new world order with retrospects to the United States. The Federal Reserve Bank, the Central American Bank, which publishes U.S. dollars. Everyone tends to think this is a U.S. government bank. America, wake up, unmask the truth. Things are not what they seem. The Federal Reserve Bank is not a government institution. They have nothing to do with the federal government. I know I've spoken on this in the past, but we must be very clear and have an understanding about what reality really is. It's a separate banking global system. That's what it is. So as Americans, we need to unmask the truth about who's really representing the United States in this room. Alan Greenspan, Ben Bernanke. But who elected these individuals? For one to understand the Federal Reserve System, it's crucial to take a look in the past, and specifically to the Rothschild family. This family, whose wealth is estimated to be at over $500 billion. That's a staggering amount. In fact, that amount is responsible for over half of the world's wealth. In Frankfurt, Germany, 50 years after the Bank of England opened its doors, a goldsmith named Amschel Moses Bauer opened a coin shop, a counting house, in 1743. Over the door he placed a sign depicting a Roman eagle on a red shield. The shop later became known as the Red Shield Firm, or in German, Rothschild. Now, when his son Amschel Bauer inherited the business, he decided to change his name to Rothschild. Amschel soon learned that loaning money to governments and kings was far more profitable than loaning to private individuals. Not only were the loans bigger, but they were secured by the nation's taxes. Meyer Rothschild had 5 sons. He trained them in the skills of money creation and sent them out to major capitals throughout Europe to set up branches of the family's banking business. His first son, Amschel, stayed at home in Frankfurt to mind the hometown bank. His second son, Solomon, was sent to Vienna. His third son, Nathan, who was clearly the most clever, he was sent to London at age 21 in 1798, exactly 100 years after the founding of the Bank of England. His fourth son, Carl, went to Naples, and his fifth son, Jacob, went to Paris. The European royalty broke into coming to play with the Rothschilds at Williams Hall. This was the palace to, at that time, the most wealthiest monarch in all of Europe, Prince William Castel. At first, the Rothschilds only calculated rare pieces for the prince, until Napoleon chased the prince into exile. He sent 550,000 pounds, a gigantic sum at that time, to Nathan Rothschild in London, with instructions to buy government bonds. But the Rothschilds used the money for its own purposes. With Napoleon on the loose, this was opportunity for wartime investments. It seemed nearly limitless. Prince William soon returned just before the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. He summoned the Rothschilds and demanded his money back. The Rothschilds returned William's money, plus the interest the British consul would have paid him if they actually would have made the investment. But the Rothschilds kept all the money they gained from using all of the prince's monies. By the 1900s, they dominated all European banking, and became the richest family in the world. They financed Cecil Rhodes, who, well, they made it possible for him basically to the corner and dominate the diamond and gold markets in South Africa. In America, they financed the Harrimans and the railroads, the Vanderbilts and the railroads, and the press, Carnegie and the steel industry, amongst many others. In fact, after World War I, J.P. Morgan was thought to be one of the richest men in the world. After his death, it was discovered that he was only a lieutenant for the Rothschilds. In fact, when his will was made public, it was found that he owned only 19% of J.P. Morgan companies. Now, I want to quote, "Let me issue and control a nation's money, and I care not who writes its laws." Meyer Amschel Rothschild. This family of German and Jewish descent has been claimed to cause every war since 1800. Again, and I quote, "Rothschilds is Lord and Master of the money markets of the world, and of course, virtually Lord and Master of everything else," end quote. Benjamin Disraeli, Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister. Now, I want to quote President Taft when he said, "Whoever controls the volume of money in our country has absolute power and is absolute master of all industry and commerce," end quote. The Rothschilds rule by proxy. They virtually control the world with their money and power. Their central banks control the money supply of many countries, including the United States. In 1932, when America sold our country to the private international bankers, this is the family who became Lord and Master of the United States. Until next time, well, I will continue speaking about the bankers rule the U.S. towards this new world order. America, God bless, wake up, and